another round of the UK&I Monday Night Skippies here on Racesport TV and iRacing Live. Hello to all those watching on YouTube and Twitch. It's the penultimate race of the championship. We have 2 British tracks to finish off the season. Stay tuned for the green flag while we bring you these short messages. We've had some amazing races so far this season, and that does not look like it will change for the final 2 rounds of the UK&I Skip Barber Racing Tool Series, where we have 2 of the UK club's home tracks. Tonight it's Donington, situated in the English Midlands in the county of Leicestershire. Next week we head southeast to Kent, where we have Brands Hatch. Rachel, I know your voice is a little bit worse for wear this evening, which is why I'm doing most of the talking, but you could not have asked for a better finish to the season for a UK&I league.
Absolutely not, Connery, of course. We are here at Donington Park, and what a fantastic race course we're at tonight. Of course, national layout, not the Grand Prix one, so it's short, it's fast, with a big grid tonight of 33 cars. It's going to be furious racing.
Indeed it will be, as we come very, very close to the end of qualifying here. It is a 20-minute open qualifying session. I believe it is safe to run through your grid now. Tom Ward currently takes pole with a 1:16.4, followed closely behind by Benny Simonson in second, your 2 championship contenders at the front of your field. Clark Williams gets 3rd on the grid, and Mark Turner 4th. Chris Malcolm takes away P6 on the grid, and David Gunnels lines up 6th. The Welshman Nathan Davies lines up 7th, and Ryan G. Walker 8th. Bill Fraser, our winner at Imola, lines up 9th, and Simon Maltby in 10th. The rest of those positions are on your grid now. So, Linus, in terms of championship points during the season, Benny Simonson currently leads by 30 points over Tom Ward, but Stuart Hancock's not close behind in terms of being statistically closely to Tom Ward, actually. He's only 5 points behind when he's in 3rd place. Mark Turner's in 4th, and Nathan Davies, Bill Fraser, Paul Thurston and Simon Maltby are all within 10 points of each other for 5th, 6th and 7th and 8th in the championship. So this championship is heating up here.
Yeah, I think if Simonson just has a good race today, I think he'll secure the championship, but behind him there is still a lot that can happen, so all of these guys will need to be very careful today and have a good solid day and good finish.
Indeed they will, but Tom Ward currently having the advantage over Benny Simonson. This race he currently takes the pole, as they will start to grid in just a second, but Tom Ward will have to definitely pull out all the stops in the final 2 races this season, because that is a pretty big deficit to Benny Simonson. It's not insurmountable by any means, but it is 30 points, and that is the same amount of points as you get for a race win, Rachel.
Certainly is, of course, Connery, but let's not forget they've only dropped 1 of 2 rounds so far this season, so the points table could change dramatically. We aren't entirely sure how much by, but we'll find out in another round's time. But I think we're getting ready to head over to the grid now, Connery. So it's going to be a good one here. Of course, 19 laps. Weather conditions today looking very favourable for racing. It's cool though, 65 degrees. We've seen a lot of cars getting loose, so could watch out in those first few laps.
Yes, of course, it's very cool out there on the track. There's a track temp of 76 Fahrenheit. It is partly cloudy. The winds are about 6 miles an hour to the northeast. But yes, we're on the slightly shorter version of Donington Park here today, Linus. We miss out the 2 hairpins at the end of the lap on the full circuit. So the only slow turns I can think of on this track now are just the last chicane.
Yeah, we're going to see some pretty big dives going in there, especially towards the end of the race, I think. But those 2 hairpins, they can provide some good racing, but we'll do well without them as well, I think. There's going to be... Well, these guys are so even, we're going to see passing all over the track anyways, I think, so it's not going to hurt us too much.
Indeed, and we see also a little bit of old blood in this series just coming back for this race at Donington Park. We have David Grunhill lining up in 6th place here. We will see what he can do as a old veteran of this series. But some of the new blood in this series we've seen over the past couple of seasons, Rachel, Tom Ward, Benny Simmons, and they have really made their mark on this series.
They certainly have, but names I really want to keep an eye on for this one has always been people like Mark Turner, Chris Malcolm and Nathan Davies, Ryan G. Walker as well. Those guys, they've really been moving forward. Simon Maltby, once a solid mid-pack driver, has been pushing into that top 10 more often than not. It's really the mix of the blood in this series. It's a huge advantage to it. This is why we have such great racing.
Indeed it is, and we'll also see Bill Fraser, first-time race winner a couple of weeks ago in Imola. He's lining up in perhaps his usual position in 9th, but he's been solidly bottom end of that top 10. Let's see if he can gain a few more positions here and finish very, very well, especially in that battle of the bottom end of the top 10 as we come close to going to the green flag right now. They're not really having their engines just yet, but this should be an exciting one going down into turn 1 of Redgate.
Yeah, so it should be, of course. Redgate is definitely a tricky corner, so everyone with their eyes on a swivel.
Of course they are, as the lights come up and the engines will rev. Tom Ward on pole, but with Benny Simpson right next to him as we go green flag racing here at Donington Park. Both of your front rows get a very, very good start. Also Chris Malcolm back in 5th as well, but Tom Ward will be the first one to turn 1. That is Redgate as they go 2 by 2 behind. That was Mark Turner and Chris Malcolm just having a little bit of a fight going down into turn 1. Through your field, there's still 2 by 2. David Grunhill and Nathan Davies having a little bit of the fight as they come through Hollywood right now. Downhill into the Craner curves. It's important to get your momentum correct through this turn as they come down into the old hairpin, Rachel.
Yeah, they certainly do. Everyone through that first corner very cleanly. You got some bit of a run down there through the Craner curves. There's a few cars still too wide as big lockups further back in your field, but no contact as of yet. But everyone's running pretty well at the moment. Good single file action now. They've all separated out, making sure they do not jump on top of each other too hard. But out front is still going to be looking like a 3-car pull away.
Yes, of course, Tom Ward currently leads from pole with Benny Simonson close behind in this first lap. But Benny Simonson gets a little bit wrong going down into that corner, down onto the straight, coming down to the last chicane. Clark Williams is sticking with him. Further back, though, in 4th and 5th, that is Mark Turner and Chris Malcolm. They're dropping back from this top 3 a little bit as they go into the last chicane here. And that is going to be your first lap complete here at Donington, Linus. Pretty clean start so far.
Yeah, I didn't see any contact anywhere. Going onto that little straight before the chicane, Davies went a little bit wide onto the grass, and that dropped him from 7th all the way down into P number 15, so that was a costly mistake for him.
Yes, as we see a battle between the 23 car of Brian J. Holmes and the 28 of Ashley Beard. I think Brian J. Holmes managed to make the pass stick going onto that home straight and then going into Redgate. Yes, he is scored ahead of Ashley Beard that time by as they all come through the old hairpin. There's a little bit of dust going towards the middle of the track and of course on the exit there. So these drivers are running off a little bit, Rachel, and bringing the dust onto the track.
Yeah, they certainly are, as looking just a bit further up the field there, or further back down the field I should say. I think that was the contact further back. That was involving, I believe, Adrian Bidewell. Yes, it was Adrian Bidewell there with contact after the old hairpin. Number 7 car of Troy Goatley. And Bidewell just comes across the front of Goatley and bam, contact. The 2 cars go round. You can see that replay up on your screen. Bit of an embarrassing contact, but both cars somewhat intact.
Yes, a little bit embarrassing, but as you can see ahead of them there, Stefan Nobes was coming back onto the track after having a little bit of an off coming through the old hairpin. I didn't know. I don't know if. Sorry, go on, Rachel.
Massive shunt. Paul Thurston involved with Nathan Davies. So a big one at the front of your field. Davies making a huge dive bomb on Ashley Beard, I believe that was. No, James Barrington, sorry. Up the inside, he hits the back of Thurston. Almost. Yeah, that was a big one. It was very much akin of some of the young stars of Formula 1 and some of their outbreaking shenanigans. Big contact there. Thurston, nowhere to go.
Yes, I think Nathan Davies just mistimed the outbreaking of James Barrington there and just goes straight into the back of Paul Thurston. Paul Thurston not very happy over the mic just then. I think that is quite understandable, Rachel.
Oh, absolutely. It's a big move here. Robert Plumley, he's just got up the inside there. Simon Maltby as they head towards turn number 6.
Side by side
to hold it in position now as, yes, up towards the lead we look, and it's Benny Simonson, Tom Ward side by side, both of them pushing as hard as they can. Simonson will make it through. Clark Williams could look as well, Connery.
Yes, they will, and as they come down to the latter end of the lap here in the last chicane, Tom Ward just slots in behind Benny Simpson. Benny Simpson will squeeze him to the outside of the track. Benny Simpson will have the inside for the chicane, but this is just stacked up your top 4 or 5, or actually that's more, actually. That is right down to Ryan G. Walker in 7th place. So these top 3 battling has absolutely bunched up the pack as we see Tom Ward just go to the outside in Redgate, turn 1, trying to hang it around the outside of Benny Simpson. Here comes Clark Williams trying to make a move on Tom Ward while he is vulnerable and trying to attack Simpson, but Simpson ahead currently going through Hollywood Corner. This is fantastic stuff at the front here, Linus.
Yeah, a really big battle coming from nowhere. They've been single file for the first 3 laps, and all of a sudden everyone's side by side and the whole pack behind them is caught up. There are now 8 cars within a chance to be in the lead, but looks like Simonson is going to try and pull away now. Don't know if he'll make it, because here comes Ward back on the inside, but he's going to have to back out.
Indeed, Ward being very, very aggressive all over the back of Benny Simonson here as they come up to McLean's corner. Tom Ward will go down the inside at McLean's corner. He tries to make the move stick. He'll have to get a good run off onto the straight here, but Benny Simonson is hanging with him. Here comes Clark Williams, though. He's going to sit in the draft. Is he going to make it 3 wide? I think he does not, but Benny Simonson are going to be on the outside for the first part of this chicane. Tom Ward will be on the inside. He hits the apex first. Tom Ward gets ahead, coming out of the last corner of coming on to lap number 5, Rachel. This is absolutely amazing.
Yes, it certainly is, and you know these guys at the front are going to have to think very carefully here, Connery, because a DNF for Simonson or Ward could change the landscape of this championship dramatically, and that's not what either of them need. Of course, DNF by Simonson would almost really open this one up to Tom Ward, but right now it's looking like Clark Williams in a hot seat, as these two have to be a little careful with their points on the line so dramatically. But behind them, of course, Martin Turner, Dave Grunnell, Chris Malcolm, Ryan Walker in there still, as is Bill Fraser and another group of cars. So this is really close here at the front. These guys not willing to give this one up. The field's still very much close. And a big mover so far, Reece Saunders up from 32nd on the grid. He's in 20th. That's a huge
Sorry, Rachel, as we have more
places.
battling for the lead. Benny Simonson on the inside of Tom Ward's, I believe, coming up to the next corner here as Benny Simpson goes through on your leader on the inside. Coming back out onto the straight, Tom Ward will have a little bit of a look coming down now onto the straight. He will look towards the inside for this chicane that's coming up. The side-by-side battling with your leaders. This is what UK&I Skip Barber Series is all about, as Tom Ward takes back the place as we see a spin behind from Mark Turner.
We'll try and get a replay. Mark Turner goes round there, sorry, Connery. He just locked that car up and tried to kind of outstep it, but no, it was contact from the rear. Dave Grunnell accidentally running into the back there, into braking into the back of Mark Turner, sends his car around, very near contact for a number of cars, and Bill Fraser takes evasive action across the gravel.
Yes, of course, I think we're safe to pin the blame on that one to David Grunhill, even as we look towards your lead now, Rachel.
It is Simonson Award yet again, but also now Clark Williams throwing his nose in there, up alongside Simonson as we head up towards, corner after, the old hairpin there, as they're side by side at the front here. Ward, Simonson, Williams looking in a very strong position. These two moments away from contact, but the group behind him, of course, dropping back after that incident, so breathing room right now, but how long will this last? Will they just get eaten up again? Most likely. Ward up the inside here from McLean. Gonna make a good run of it.
Yes, of course, as these top three have been fighting for all of your 6 laps currently. Look at them, they're all in a big clump going down the straight towards the last chicane. Clark Williams just sitting there having a look at what these 2 leaders will do as Benny Simpson falls behind Tom Ward yet again coming through the last chicane. He looks to get a good exit though. He's going to try and make the pass done before Redgate. That is of course turn 1, but he might have to hang it around the outside. Let's also have a look at Clark Williams as well behind. He will try and probably stick his nose in at some point as both of your leaders lock up their inside right front tyres as Benny Simpson tries to execute the cutback on Tom Ward as they come down through Hollywood and towards the Craner curves. They're going too wide all the way through this section of track. Coming down to the old hairpin, Benny Simpson will have the inside. They're still side by side as they both get the back end out a little bit as Clark Williams will look to make it 3 wide almost coming out of the old hairpin. But this battle is amazing. They're not dropping too much time to Bill Fraser in 4th, but as we see again, Simonson trying to make a contact with Benny Simonson and Tom Ward's rear left tyre. That gives the opportunity to Clark Williams to make a pass into 2nd there, Lena. Benny Simonson making a very small mistake behind Tom Ward, just running into the back of him. That's cost him a place.
Yeah, going this close to each other in open wheel cars, you have to be very, very careful. One mistake will cost you a lot of time, and that's basically what Williams has been doing. He's been sitting behind these guys looking for an opening, not been able to find it. Now there was a mistake and he capitalizes right away, so now he's gonna have to be the one taking up the battle with Ward unless Simonson decides to come back at him here going into turn 1. He certainly will give it a try.
Yes, of course, Simonson down the inside into Redgate. I think he'll make the pass here before the apex of the corner. Clark Williams may try to look to get him back off the corner, but no, he does not get the drive off the corner. Look behind them though. This fighting has caused Bill Fraser to catch right back up, and Chris Malcolm not too far behind him as we look towards the I believe the 28 car of Ashley Beard. He is currently battling with a few cars in front of him. Those are Robert Plumley in that yellow car and Ryan G. Walker in the front there in 6th position. Ryan G. Walker has made up a place on Robert Plumley at that time by. So some interesting fighting in your mid-pack here, Rachel.
Yeah, Robert Plumley's been in the wars here, Connery. That rear wing is a little bit bent on that Pennzoil machine. But up front, the Rothmans, Williams getting through there of Ashley Beard. No, that's Ryan G. Walker, sorry. Behind them, of course, that is the car of Ashley Beard. He's involved in this one as well. So good fighting in the bottom end of your top 10. These guys really pushing as hard as they can. They want to have a good fight, but at the same time, they are bringing this gap down. It's only a 3-second gap for them to your leaders. Of course, Bill Fraser will be the first to catch that group, as will Chris Malcolm. They're running single file. They want to eat this gap up while Simonson, Ward, Simonson, Ward, and Williams fight. I can English, I promise. As up front, it's the resumption of the Simonson and Ward battle, as Williamson has dropped back to 3rd. But you know, this is getting very heated early on. We're on lap 9 of 19, Connery. It's really, really intense. Could this get hotter?
It could well do, as Chris Malcolm has currently just reeled in Bill Fraser for 4th place here. Bill Fraser not really catching the front 3 unless they are fighting, as Malcolm has a look on the outside, just coming out of the old hairpin, coming up to McLean's. No, he backs out of that one, just sits behind as they come through McLean's corner now. So do your top 3 as Bill Fraser gets the back end out just a little bit. That will shrug off some of his speed, but Chris Malcolm not closing up too much. I think he's just waiting for the draft pass coming down into the last chicane, Linus.
Oh, sorry, Brian Holmes is off the track. That's Brian J. Holmes, the 23 car. He actually had a spin coming out of the old hairpin actually there, Connery. Lost the back end of that car in front of Simon Maltby. Round he goes, having just made that pass off onto the grass. Keeps the car safe, rejoins, but a lot of places lost there for Brian Holmes.
Yes, of course, when we have the replay on the screen for you now, he just takes a little bit too much speed into that old hairpin, gets off the throttle a bit too much. And then what happens in this Skip Barber car is that if you get off the throttle, like completely off the throttle, it does like to step that back end out, and it just did it a little bit too much there for Brian J. Holmes. Not what he wanted at all, and a scary moment for the cars behind him. As we look back towards the front, they're going side by side. Benny Simonson almost making the pass on the outside, coming down into the old hairpin. No, he slots behind. Clark Williams also looking to get involved. He is the dark horse of this top 3 so far. He's just lagging behind as Benny Simonson looks to make a move on the outside, coming up into McLean's corner as Tom Ward gets the back end. Oh, this allows Benny Simpson to execute the switch back. Now they're going to come into the uphill braking zone for Coppice corner with Benny Simonson on the inside. These two front drivers are going absolutely crazy for this race lead now as Clark Williams may look to make it 3 wide coming down into the chicane. He's a bit nervous about that 3 wide, but he might plan it for later on in the race as Benny Simpson will take the inside for the first part of the last chicane. Gets the back end out, very nearly contact with Tom Ward as Tom Ward also gets it loose out of the last chicane. You cannot get much closer battling than this, Linus, as we see Clark Williams try to make a move on Tom Ward on the outside coming into Redgate.
Yeah, they're moving back and forth all the time. Here's Ward again on the inside. He's going to have to back out, I think, but it looks to me as if Williams, he's not quite up there with the pace. The reason he's keeping up is these guys going side by side, and on the last lap, if he has a chance to make a 3-way down the straightaway going into the chicane, I think he will.
Yes, as we look back to the 17 car of Bill Fraser and the 83 of Chris Malcolm, this is your secondary fight for your 4th and 5th positions, and I think Bill Fraser managed to make the pass back on Chris Malcolm during that lap, so these two are having a little bit of their own battle, while the two up front, as again Tom Ward tries to make the pass going into McLean's corner. Clark Williams also looking to try and capitalize on everything that these two at the front are doing, but he just doesn't seem to have the pace as Benny tries to execute the switchback yet again. Does not work this time, as you'll sit in the draft of Tom Ward coming into the last chicane here, Rachel.
Certainly is, and these two have been fighting so hard. Clark Williams really waiting to take advantage of what these guys may do. I think he's sitting here thinking he might get an inadvertent win should there be an accident, as the undercut there from Benny Simonson on Ward. He tries to put that one down the inside, he does just that. Have the outside here for Redgate. Clark Williams again sitting, lurking in the wings, waiting for an opportunity. I think he'll see him take that 3 wide later on in the race, Connery, when this comes down to the final few laps. But Fraser and Malcolm, well, they're involved with Plumley now. He's got up in there. 147 car Robert Plumley has jumped into this one, getting alongside Chris Malcolm there as we head down towards the Craner curves and the old hairpin. Can he do anything about this one? Will Plumley have the advantage? He does indeed. He gets past Malcolm. Good move there by Plumley, but also here comes Ashley Beard. So good battle developing for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th.
Well, of course, the fight at the front of your field still rages on. Benny Simonson and Tom Ward side by side yet again. Tom Ward on the inside for McLean's corner. Benny Simonson will try and get a good exit, but no, he runs off into the dirt a little bit. Gives the advantage to Tom Ward coming up to Coppice corner. Clark Williams again stalking behind as Benny Simonson. He likes that cut back move off of Coppice corner. That just gives him the run down onto the straight as Tom Ward will try and look to the inside. Benny Simonson moves over and tries to block that lane as Tom Ward now has to go to the outside for the first part of the last chicane. They're going 2 by 2 almost every single lap here, really. This is all we can ask for as Benny Simonson off the track and into the grass. He does well to gather that one up and stay in the lead and not lose too much time. But as I said, Linus, this is absolutely enthralling stuff at the front.
Yeah, he's lucky to not lose any time there. He looks like he's going to keep the lead, but these guys are going to keep battling like this, and eventually something is going to happen, and that's when Williams is going to capitalise, unless he puts his nose in there. He's a bit too careful though. I think he likes 3rd place, but towards the end he's going to make a move. I'm pretty sure about that.
We will, of course, have to wait and see. As we see, yes, he go too wide, too deep behind the leaders. As Robert Plumley just gets off into the dirt a little bit. That allows Bill Fraser to try and make the move on the run up to McLean's corner. As we see the leaders again going 2 by 2. We'll stick with this one for now as Bill Fraser makes the move on Robert Plumley. Chris Malcolm and Ashley Beard also involved in that fight as we go towards the front now. Yet again, the leaders are going at it with hammer and tongs as Tom Ward tries to look on the inside, on the right-hand side of the straight. He just has enough space there. Benson just gave him enough space as he now has the inside for the first part of the last chicane. I believe he will get this one done this time by and be scored as the leader for this 13th lap. And we're just coming on to the 14th lap as Clark Williams looks to the outside of Benny Simonson coming into Redgate. They will try and make it 3 wide going down into Redgate because why not? But they will all slot in line as Benny Simonson very, very close to the back of Tom Ward as they go side by side through Hollywood.
Certainly do. And speaking of 3 wide, behind them we had a big fight there with Chris Malcolm, Plumley and Fraser. Those guys 3 wide, they're running down towards Redgate. Big battling there for 4th, 5th and 6th. Huge fight. Plumley, of course, comes out the winner, so big advantage to him there. But this is hotting up here, the back end of your top 10 as well in Connery in this one, as we look back towards your leader again. It is Ward and Simonson. What a surprise. They're side by side here, running up towards the halfway point here of the lappers. Another potential cutback from Tom Ward as he right under the gearbox there of Benny Simonson. Big run by Ward up the inside. As they overlap, he goes for it. The cars will stick in there. Very respectful racing here, but also very close, Connery. They're on top of each other. And this is millimeters from disaster. These guys are pushing as hard as I've seen all season.
It is absolutely enthralling stuff as they go 2 by 2 yet again down into the last chicane. Tom Ward will come out top this time as Benny Simpson tries to get around out of the corner, but you really have to put your money on Clark Williams here. He's been sticking with this battle, and if there's any sort of incident on the last lap as Benny Simpson tries the outside again, coming down into Redgate, I think Clark Williams has a really good chance of taking the race win here today, Linus.
Yeah, like I said before, he's just waiting for something to happen, but if these guys keep battling like this, they're going to have to watch out, because Plumley is closing in from behind as well, so Williams might not even be set for 3rd if these guys keep slowing each other down this much. Still got about 5 laps to go though, so interesting to see what will happen.
As we see,
as he makes a move around the outside now for P2.
Yes, Clark Williams will try and hold it around that side of the track as he tries to make it towards the inside from McLean's corner. There's a little bit of contact with your leaders. Benny Simpson almost running into the back of Tom Ward as he was sliding. I think those 2 drivers will, their cars will be fine even. I'm not sure if they'll be fine in terms of, sort of getting angry with that move as we see Clark Williams. He may try and make a move on the outside going into the chicane, but no, he's not close enough this time by.
Look behind this group here. I've got the cars of Robert Plumley, Bill Fraser, Ashley Beard and Ryan Walker on top of your leaders here. The fighting has brought this gap down. This could see people like Robert Plumley and Bill Fraser, people who aren't quite here in the points lead, with nothing to lose, getting involved in this one because they are catching, and this fighting is only bringing them further back. This is going to be a fantastic finish.
Yes, we only have a few laps to go. That is 3 laps to go in this race, and it's everything to play for with the guys at the front now, because there's a train of cars just currently catching your top 3 very quickly, and they could get involved in this fight, as you say, Rachel. Bill Fraser, Robert Plumley, Ashley Beard, Ryan G. Walker, they could all get involved in this podium fight if these top 3 cars start fighting for much longer during the course of this race, as Benny Simpson drops back a little bit off of that friction racing machine of Tom Ward. He currently has Clark Williams all over the back of him, coming into, I believe that is Coppice Corner, but look at that, Robert Plumley has really caught up to the back of them now. He will have the draft coming down the straight into the last chicane. There's going to be a train of cars for your lead as Tom Ward goes to defends the inside line to the chicane. I believe that is the preferred line if he wants to defend it through that sequence of corners, but Plumley and Bill Fraser and Ashley Beard, they are all sniffing a podium.
Yeah, they certainly are. Clark Williams now starting to jump into action here as he just took a look 3 wide there, closer than he's been all race. There's a little bit more contact with Benny Simonson and Tom Ward for your lead. That was very close.
Here comes Plumley.
Simonson crushes Williams off the track. That was huge, Connery. Well, Simonson just decided he just wants to have the racing line and pushes Williams off the track.
Sorry,
he goes.
turn.
Benny Simonson off.
Simonson, that is not what Simonson wanted in the last, the penultimate race this season. He just gets into the back of Tom Ward slightly. I don't think there was much Tom Ward could do there. That was on Benny Simonson just getting into the back of him, going off into the gravel. Luckily, no other cars were involved as Benny Simpson now battles with Chris Malcolm for, I believe that is 7th and 8th place on the track, as a P9 apparently as well, but Tom Ward currently leading the side. This is all that Tom Ward really needed now to close that points gap to Benny Simonson. Robert Plumley now, surprise, currently 2nd place. He caught the top 3 leaders in the last couple of laps, and now he's running in 2nd with Clark Williams close behind Linus.
Yeah, Williams once again finds himself in 3rd place, even though we had a mistake, but here he comes up the inside of Plumley, and looks like he might be able to get second place going into turn 1 with 2 laps to go.
Of course, but you also got Bill Fraser behind as he tries to make the move on Robert Plumley coming through Redgate Corner. They will come downhill now into the Craner curves. Tom Ward at the front of the field has currently gotten away a little bit as there's a little bit of contact with Plumley and Bill Fraser. Robert Plumley around in the Craner curves. A little spurt of incidents here late on in the race, Linus.
Yeah, everyone's getting a bit anxious now towards the end of the race. Everyone wants to make the most of everything, and with the racing being this tight, something is bound to happen. Luckily it hasn't involved too many cars, and looks like Simonson is actually back up and running in 6th place now with Plumley going off.
Indeed, of course, as we look to the 17 car of Bill Fraser and of course Ashley Beard in that number 28 Skip Barber machine, they will have a little bit of a battle coming down into the last chicane here as Ashley Beard has a look down the inside for the first part of the chicane. I believe he will get the pass complete, and yes, he will. Now Bill Fraser has pressure behind from Ryan G. Walker, as Ryan G. Walker has a little bit of a look on the outside coming down the straight into Redgate Corner. This has thrown a spanner into the works, Rachel.
It certainly has, Connery. This is a podium potential chance here for 2 guys. It'll be a first for Ashley Beard if he can hold this one in here for 1 more lap. He's on the grass there and sideways. Oh, big moment there. Holds onto the car beautifully though as Ryan Walker and Fraser will fight. This could provide the gap to Ashley Beard he needs so desperately. And they'll stay too wide to the Craner curves. This will actually be a big advantage here into the old hairpin, as he should get a great run out the corner. He does just that, and they're going to fight again. And they're going to fight for 4th. Ashley Beard can't believe what he can see in his rearview mirrors here as behind him they're fighting. This could be the chance for a first time podium for that number 28 machine. But up front, of course, Connery, Tom Ward. He has no pressure now. Clark Williams is there, but it's not going to be enough.
It might not be, but if Clark Williams can get a good run coming out of Coppice Corner here, this is, of course, the last lap. He can have the draft all the way down to the last chicane as they have a lapped car of Adrian Bidwell ahead of them just going off the track. But I do not think Clark Williams will be close enough to make a move on the entries to the chicane. It's all about the exit now. You have to get the exit right, but I believe Tom Ward will come across and take the checkered flag here at Donington Park with Clark Williams in a close second. Third place as they go 3 wide across the line. I believe it was Ashley Beard eventually taking that one by a very, very small margin, but 3 wide across the line for 3rd place between Ashley Beard, Ryan G. Walker and Bill Fraser. Benny Simonson, after that earlier incident, comes across the line in 6th place, but what a final lap.
Connery, that was 3 wide, sorry, in the space a GT car takes for 1 car. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, they were pretty much wheels inside wheels there, and we could not have gotten much, much closer, as we do have a replay of that finish for 3rd place. Bill Fraser, Ashley Beard, and of course, I believe that is the car of Ryan G. Walker, just squeezing it on the inside coming out of the last chicane. I think there's just the car's width of space there, as Ashley Beard's pretty much ping-ponging between 2 cars to take the last spot on the podium, his first ever podium for Ashley Beard. But yeah, that was a very, very exciting race here, Linus, as we will, of course, go to the results. Tom Ward will take the checkered flag in this very, very exciting Donington Park race by about 0.4 of a second to Clark Williams, who takes 2nd. Ashley Beard, first ever podium there in 3rd place, about 3 seconds behind your leader, but that was very, very close coming across the line with Ryan G. Walker in 4th and Bill Fraser in 5th. Benny Simpson, after an earlier incident that fell him back through the field, he ends up recovering to a 6th place with Robert Plumley in 7th. Chris Malcolm is in 8th, and Simon Maltby 9th, and James E. Barrington rounds out your top 10. The rest of your results will be on the screen now. As we wait for a few drivers to come in for their interviews, I believe we have the driver of Ryan G. Walker here. That was perhaps one of the best finishes I have ever seen in this Skip Barber Racing School series for the UK&I club. How did you feel coming across the line with 2 cars on your left-hand side, I believe?
Yeah, sorry about that. Forgot to plug my mic in, headset in. Sorry. Yeah, that was a pretty tense last lap, and then I seen Ashley and Bill get a bad run on the last corner, so I thought both of them went to defend the inside or the inside line going to the line. So I thought I'll take a chance on the grass and go on the outside, and just about managed to get a podium position. But fourth place, I'm still happy with that for my first time back.
Of course, with the leaders fighting there, did you ever think that you could potentially win this race with the rate that your pack was actually catching them there, Ryan? Did you think that a win might be on the cards today for at least someone in your pack?
It was possible. I mean, me, Bill, and Ashley were. I kept checking the gap toward in the closing stages, and we were slowly catching the leaders. And I thought, yeah, one of us could maybe take the win, but yeah, it's just ran out of time, unfortunately.
Of course, so well done on that fourth place result there, Ryan, from 8th to 4th. But speaking of quality positions and finishing positions, we have Rhys Saunders, who climbed from 32nd on the grid to 13th on the grid. Of course, Rhys, we were focusing on the fights at the front because they were absolutely amazing. But how was it coming through the field from the back?
Yeah, it was really good. Got home late from work, didn't have time to qualify or anything like that, so I had to start from back and do it the hard way. But it was really good coming through the field. I was aided by a few DNFs that had happened with instance from in front, but I finished probably where I would have done if I'd have qualified, so pretty happy.
Yes, indeed. And we saw at the front there was potential for side-by-side racing at pretty much every corner. Was that the same as you were coming through the field? Because there are not very many slow-speed corners here, just the last chicane, so you really have to get the move done on the draft into the fast corners, which is scary at the best of times. But did you have any problems?
No, I had a small piece of contact at the start with Alan Patterson. I just touched him in the rear into turn 1, but no, not really. No, it was all right. Racing was pretty good, pretty clean.
Yes, indeed, and good job on that good recovery result after your qualifying position there, Rhys, as we now talk to, I believe, Simon Maltby, who climbed from qualifying in 10th to gain just one position into 9th. How was your race, Simon? Because there was some amazing battling at front, as I say, but we did have a look at the battles you were having with some of the guys around you, Chris Malcolm, Bill Fraser, who managed to finish really well. Any opinions on the track, really, especially this national layout where you miss out the last 2 hairpins?
I find this track really difficult. If you push just a bit too hard and get a slide, then you lose so much time. I was struggling all the way through to keep up with Robert, and then dropped back a bit, and then was in the clutches of James and Mark. I tried with Mark to work together for a couple of laps, but then he decided he wanted to battle, and that let James through. Then I just battled James, and the last few laps it was really, I was just trying to keep him behind me by taking defensive lines. Wasn't really concentrating on ahead of me, but it seems that Chris and Robert had a bit of a problem, so we got close at the end. Really hard race.
Yes, of course, a very difficult race. Obviously, Robert Ponley dropping back to you because he did have a little bit of a spin on contact in the crane of curves going downhill while fighting for a podium place, actually. But thank you for talking with us today there, Simon, as I'm being told to wrap it up. So it has been an absolutely amazing race here today. Any final words from either of you, Rachel or Linus? We'll start with Rachel.
Spectacular race as we always expect here, and can't wait to go to Brands Hatch next week for the finale. And with that finish, the points gap will be closer, a drop week in hand. This is going to be a season finale you do not want to miss.
Yeah, it was an amazing race and great battles as always, and with the long straightaways in these cars you get some amazing draft and a lot of passes, so I'm hoping to see a lot of that at Brands Hatch as well.
Of course, this race just sets the stage for the final round at Brands Hatch. Join us for that one in just a week's time. I've been Connery Maddock with Linus Brostrom and, of course, Rachel Whiteford. Hugo Luis on the cameras. We will see you next week for the UK&I Monday Night Skippies.